First time I played Helldivers 2, it amazed me how a very simple system where you press control followed by a sequence of arrow keys to summon various military gadgets could be so rewarding. So I thought a game that uses that system for casting spells would be kinda cool, right? The first thing I needed was a way to move around, so I made a capsule for the player and made some bouncy animations for it when it jumps, lands, and dashes. With the movement out of the way, I made a basic magic projectile to test the spell selection system, aka the thing I'm stealing from Helldivers. I made a menu you can toggle when holding control. There you can see spell names, icons, which I haven't done yet, and the arrow combination to select the spell. The combinations get animated while you're selecting the spell, and of course when you end the combination you can cast that spell. Now we could say we have the very basics of the system. But I'm trying to build a game here, not just a system, so Capsule will no longer cut it for the player. I blocked out the character shape, modeled a wizard character on Blender, and put it in the game. But it was stiffer than these guys from Mario. So I made animations for walking, jumping, dashing, blinking, and most importantly, spell casting. The next step was making a mana bar to limit how often you can cast spells. I also added a health bar and something that will show you the current spell you're using and how many charges of it you have left. And I also changed how the spell menu looks. Anyway, I added 2 more spells. One for health regeneration, another for mana regeneration. These ones don't give you charges or anything, you just use them immediately. But for you to get hurt, there should be some kind of enemy. So I duplicated the player, removed its HUD, changed its colors, and now we have an enemy. But since it's just a duplicate of the player, it just does exactly the same. So to make it a real threat, I made it able to move around the map on its own to follow the player while avoiding obstacles. Next, I made it able to take damage from the player spells and die with a big explosion of particles to get you a dopamine hit. And lastly, made it able to damage the player when it gets close to him by slapping the heck out of it. Although it's fun to beat the enemies, there's something evidently missing that I needed to add. A map. I started with a 2D blockout of the map and started filling it in the game engine with some assets I got for free from Kenny's. Then I changed their heights, added connections for them, made a building on the center, placed some fences so the enemies don't fall as much, and some decorations for it to look more alive that will react to you or enemies walking over them. But for this to be called a game, the most important part of the puzzle is still missing. An objective. My idea for this was to have some sort of wave system, but I can just spawn enemies from anywhere because the map is kinda big and it would be so easy to just run around the map and avoid enemies while attacking them since they are not very fast at navigating the map. That's why I put some points in the map where these zones can appear. To start a wave, you go outside of the hub, which will lock you out of it, and the zone will appear. When you step into the zone, the enemies start spawning inside it. You need to defeat a certain amount of enemies to make the zone stop spawning them, and defeat every single one of them to remove the shield that's protecting a core inside the area. Without the shield, you can destroy the core, which will make the zone disappear, and a new one will appear. You have to repeat that for 2 to 5 times to finish a wave. You'll know when it finishes because not only a new zone won't appear, but the hub will get unlocked again, allowing you to enter and exit again to start a new wave. After having that stuff working in the game, I made a funky looking shader to make the zones and the hub building look better. By the way, the zones get lighter and lighter the more enemies you defeat, until it's completely white to signal when it has stopped spawning. And it has an animation when you get out of it to signal that it's getting recharged as long as you're outside of it, to penalize you for not staying in the zone. I should probably put that somewhere else too, in a menu or something, but that's the way it works now. We could technically call this a game, but the main thing about this game is casting spell with the arrows, and currently there's only one spell that damages enemies, so I need to make more. I added the classic fireball spell first, that will make the enemies burn and damage them for some seconds after the first impact, and an ice bomb, which will not only make damage on impact, but it will damage enemies inside an area and make them slower for some seconds. To spice things up with the elemental stuff, I made 2 enemy variations too. The fire enemy will inflict fire damage on you, and the ice enemy will slow you down. These can only spawn in specific environments in the map. And that's everything I've made so far. If you wanna try the game, I'll leave a link for that in the description. If you wanna watch me work or just chat a little bit with me, I'll be live from Monday through Friday from the times that appear on screen from Wednesday of next week. Don't forget to subscribe to get notified on new videos and streams. Now let me give a moment of appreciation to the winner of the art contest that we had going on the Discord server. It's Sir Gut, with the awesome animation he made for the contest. He has a YouTube channel where he makes devlogs, so I'll link it down in the description for you to check it out. And of course, thanks to all the other participants of the event. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.